Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Chef Cutting, here to talk to you about a great recipe I'm about to make called Tuna Tartar in an aioli sauce. Now, I'm making this as an appetizer, a served appetizer, using some really cool consumables from a really cool company called Foodstuff.Biz. Now, these folks at Foodstuff.Biz really give you just a great way of accenting the plate, of making the plate look even more dramatic than it already does, just through their accenting of their plate presentations and their presentations through disposable ware and acrylic ware. So I'm going to be using that today in this recipe. We're going to be making some great stuff today. We're going to put it right on the plate, and you are just going to be so overjoyed with it. So without any further ado, let's get in the test kitchen and let's go make ourselves tuna tartar.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to get started here with this wonderful recipe, and it's quite simple, actually. We are going to make our tuna tartar with aioli sauce, and we're going to be using, as I told you, my favorite equipment from Mr. and Mrs. Foodstuff. The Foodstuff people are giving me these spoons, and as you can see, these spoons almost look real, don't they? They look real, but they're made out of plastic and they're disposable. So this is a really cool idea, so you don't have to worry about buying those $9.60 silver spoons like that. Sometimes they can range even higher, and then putting them on a plate like that and then losing them to a client. So, in this case, pennies on the dollar, people, pennies on the dollar. But enough said, you've seen the piece of equipment. Let's get into the recipe. The first thing we got here is what's going to be your aioli sauce. So we're going to be using balsamic vinegar and mayonnaise. And we're going to be making a nice tangy aioli sauce with just these two ingredients in that bowl. Right here we have a teaspoon of olive oil, we have a teaspoon of sesame seed oil, and we have a tablespoon of soy sauce. Here we have a scallion, and you use the ends of your cucumbers. We never know what to do with them. Well, now this recipe can address that. Use an end of a cucumber, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that as our garnish. And then paprika for the plate. We're using a really good yellowfin ahi tuna, and this tuna is going to be free of a lot of the sinew. As you can see, you see those little spots there. That's the actual vein of the tuna going through there. It's referred to as sinew or fans. And you want to look for the very least of this in your tuna as possible. This is a tenderloin of tuna that I cut, so this is going to look really, really good. And when you put stuff on a spoon like this where it's being showcased, you really don't want to have anything less of a quality than that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make our prep. We're going to make the aioli sauce first, then we're going to cut up our vegetables, we're going to decorate our plate, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to wrap it all up. Okay, first things first, I'm going to take the mayonnaise and put it in the bowl, and then I'm going to take the balsamic and put it in the bowl. Okay, the mayonnaise is in the bowl. Now I'm going to just pour the balsamic vinegar in there as well. And I'm going to go ahead and start mixing it up like so. And this is the exact way you want it to look. And it will take on kind of a soy sauce-like shade of the mayonnaise. But like I said, you don't want to make a lot of this. You just want to make enough that you can put a little bit on the plate and a little bit of accent on the spoon. And there you have it. You have your aioli sauce. If you want to add some herb to that, maybe some fresh thyme, or add some ground pepper, you're able to do that. I'll put a little thyme in there, but it's optional. Not everyone has fresh thyme in their kitchen, so please don't use dehydrated herbs for this. That's only for oven cooking. If you're going to use an herb, use a fresh one. And this, of course, is the one I suggest, using thyme as the one that you'd like to put in the sauce. Put a little thyme on this and also decorate the plate with the thyme as well. Okay, thyme is in there. Just mix that up there. And now we'll move on to making the tuna. Okay, I got my veggie prep done. You'll see that I cut the white part of the scallion to a very nice bias cut. And that bias cut is approximately 1/4 of an inch, and they look very good. The green part of the scallion I've cut into smaller bias cuts, and I'm going to use that as a plate presentation. I also took the end of the cucumber and cut actually the very small part of the end, so now the cucumber will stand up like this, and that'll enhance the presentation even more. We are now going to go ahead and move to the tuna. I will show you how to cut that. First thing you want is to be able to slide right through the tuna with a sharp knife, a sushi knife if you have one, but definitely a butcher knife. And as you can see, there is the vein of the tuna, and very, very hard to see because this is a high quality tuna, and you really need to use that for this recipe. So I'm going to cut 3 more slices like that, and then I'm going to cube it. Okay, I've cut the 3 slices, and now I'm going to go ahead and crisscross the cuts. I'm going to hold them together with my finger, and I'm going to just slide all the way down until I have the cuts all the way through each one. Okay, that's the first cut right there. Now we're going to twist it around and do the others. And so you can see, folks, now I've cut it on both sides, both ways. Very important to keep the tuna as cold as possible. You want to do the tuna piece, this piece, last while you do everything else so that the tuna stays nice and cold. And there we have it. You have some nice cubed tuna. And if your tuna doesn't look as rich as this, you're using the wrong kind. Talk to your fishmonger and make sure that he gives you a really high quality tuna. Usually frozen tuna that you find in the supermarket is usually the worst tuna to use for this recipe. I'm going to use this stainless steel bowl right here, and we're going to put our tuna right inside it. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our oils. First I'm going to add the sesame oil, and then I'm going to add the olive oil. Okay? Very important that you use your hands, not a spoon, not a spatula, your hands. You want to be very gentle with this. Everything needs to get covered. So we're just covering the tuna with the oil. And there you have it. You have that wonderful tuna covered in the oil with just a little excess there. And we're going to go ahead now, we're going to add the soy sauce. Go ahead and put that in there for you. Oh, look at that. You're going to see it break up a little, and that's okay. Okay, perfect. We are in business here. We have our tuna completely covered. We are now ready to start presentation on the plate. Okay, first things first, I'm going to use this nice white square plate. I'm going to take the spoon, I'm going to place it right in the middle like that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take that cucumber and I'm going to place it just a little bit off center in that side of the plate. Then I'm going to take my green onions and just place those like that on the plate. Okay? And now we are ready to finally finish this plate off. Let me show you a little culinary trick. I'm going to take the spoon off the plate for a second, and I'm going to take a little bit of our aioli sauce, as I told you in the beginning of the video, and place it on the plate like so. Now, you might ask yourself, why am I doing that? Well, because when I place the spoon on the plate, it won't move around. Cool, huh? Alright, so let's go ahead and get this started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my tuna on the spoon. And I'm going to just take some of that tuna, that wonderful tuna, right here. And I'm going to just place it in the spoon like so. I'm going to do that until I have maybe, say, 5 really nice pieces. Okay, so there we have it. We have the spoon with the tuna in it. We have the cucumber. We have the green onions. We're ready to start finishing the plate. I'm going to take some of this aioli sauce here with the thyme in it, and I'm just going to put a dab on the top of it like this. Look at that. And there we go. Put a couple of dots right there, just to make that look even more dramatic. Doesn't that look beautiful, folks? And now I'm going to take my paprika. I'm just going to put a shake on top of the cucumber. And there we go. I've put the shake of paprika on the cucumber, really accenting the red on the plate with the tuna. And now we're going to finish it off with just a little bit of the drizzle from our residue inside our tuna, and that's going to look awesome. Okay, and so I'm going to take the residue now. I'm just going to pour it right over. Oh, look at that. And there you have it, folks, courtesy of Chef Cutting and Food Stuff, your tuna tartar with aioli sauce in a wonderful self-serving spoon. And I'm just going to go ahead and crisscross a little bit of thyme on top of that spoon. People will be asking you how you did that. But
you can find this spoon and so many other consumables at this great website, www.foodstuff.biz.